The modern age at Boxwell started with the summer of 1997 and a new reservation director, Ron Turpin. Turpin had been part of Middle Tennessee Council early in his career, but have moved on to other councils, eventually serving as a council executive himself. He returned to Middle Tennessee in September 1996 and began putting his experience to work.
Much as Ward Akers rewrote the Boxwell playbook when he inherited the camp from William Anderson, Turpin modernized Boxwell in a number of ways. Most of these changes are still utilized in some form today, which is why Turpin marks the start of the modern period.
The entire coming to camp process was renovated. To better prepare leaders for what they would encounter their week of camp, 10-day out meetings were instituted. Here, 10 days before a troop's week at camp was to begin, merit badge sessions would be chosen, money paid, and program changes announced. By registering for merit badges like college classes, numbers could be better anticipated and changes made. The days of 100 scouts showing up for space exploration were over. Sunday check-in for each troop was also assigned at these meetings, meaning that numerous troops arriving all at once, overwhelming staff, were also a thing of the past.
There were other behind-the-scene changes as well. Key staff were entrusted with short-wave radios to communicate at all times, especially in emergencies. Sign-in and sign-out procedures were instituted to serve as better youth protection defense. The trading posts were transformed into walk-in shopping areas and began to take credit cards.
While the core program of advancement remained largely unchanged, there were program changes as well. There was a new Cub World program to be built, experiments with venturing and high adventure began, the first-year program for new scouts, known as the Davy Crockett program, was officially made its own program area and staff. Staff hats remained, but the red hat was no more. Parnell, deemed too small for the anticipated growth, was closed as a resident camp after 1998, and Stallman and Craig became the operational Boy Scout camps.
The most important change, though, came to dining hall program. Foreseeing an increase in camp attendance in the years ahead, meals were split into shifts. Thus, instead of the entire camp eating and engaging in program together at mealtime, the camp was divided into Group A and Group B, and each had its own mealtime. This not only dramatically extended meal times and cut down recreational time, but made dining hall program more difficult to execute well. It also made camp a great deal more like school, though the songs and skits did continue.
There were capital improvements as well. Unlike previous campaigns, the 1994 campaign was less a drop in the bucket and more the opening of a spigot. Finances continued to improve. Centralized staff sites returned and staff centers were built in 2001. Electricity was returned to the staff sites. Craig got a new water waste treatment facility as well as flush toilets, replacing the pit toilets that had replaced the Kybos. Stallman and Craig both got upgraded shower house facilities, closing down the old group showers and urine troughs in favor of individual stalls. A high adventure building was built. A pool was added. New sites were built at Stallman and Craig. As Boxwell entered the 21st century, finances no longer seemed to be a problem, and an emphasis on high adventure began to emerge.
The reservation directors following Turpin, Pat Scales and Carl Adkins, built upon these renovations, bringing wholly new programs and ideas to Boxwell. Winter camp was a jamboree-style campout at Boxwell in the week between Christmas and New Year's. Advancement was held in the morning and activities in the afternoon and evening.
Winter camp was the first of many new experiments. Giant floating balloons were added to the waterfronts to help the areas compete with the pool. A 3/4-mile zip line was built between Parnell and Cope. In 2016, the Parnell Dining Hall was repurposed to be the new STEM Center. The Parnell Trading Post there was also repurposed as the Boxwell Music Department. In terms of other capital projects, a boat harbor maintenance building was constructed. New wastewater treatment facilities were built at Craig and Stallman.
Former staff member Jason Flannery became reservation director after Carl Adkins and leads the reservation today. He has brought new programs to Cub World, including a boating area and the concept of family scouting, which merges Webelos and younger Cub Scouts into one program. Flannery wants to keep Boxwell relevant and is experimenting with new shooting and fishing programs, as well as a new ATV program.
Boxwell entered its centennial in 2021.
It has clearly traveled a long road, serving 60 scouts a week in the 1920s to serving 400 or 500 a week today.
And while some aspects of training and self-development have been lost over the years, like the Scout Council, Scouts have opportunities at Boxwell today that would have been inconceivable 100 years ago.
The camp continues to serve the changing needs of a changing society and will hopefully do so for another 100 years.
In the past, there have been 4 Boxwells. First Boxwell was at Linden, Tennessee. The second Boxwell is located in the narrows of Harper, Cheatham County. The third Boxwell, located at Rock Island, Tennessee, closed in 1959. Boxwell Reservation was opened in 1960.